U.S. Supreme Court ruled that the type of jobs that Latinos have can all be used as reasonable suspicion.
And this is without question one of the most blatant violations of the law, the Constitution, and the Fourth Amendment of the United States.
Because Latinos for Trump have been pretending like they are white, assimilating into white culture so long that they think they look white and they don't think they're going to be racially profiled.
It's very common for Latinos that are from Cuba, Venezuela, and Nicaragua to be Trumpies. And
why? Because the more educated you are, the more likely you are to vote progressive. Limiting education keeps people vulnerable to political and religious propaganda.
I don't even think a MAGA hat can save you now.
The America that we once knew disappeared 8 months ago.
So what would be the alternative? Kamala?
Yeah.
You think Kamala would have done a good job? Why? Because she wouldn't deport people? And that's the only thing you stand on? In the entire country, the way this country's going, deportations are the only thing you should judge a president on?
You know what's your problem? Your problem is that you really want to be a white girl.
The Supreme Court has ruled that jobs, accents, and skin color can now be used as reasonable suspicion. And you heard people saying Latinos for Trump are about to face the same profiling black folks have warned about for years. This is not just about one community. It's about how fragile rights become when the fear runs the system. In today's video, we are going to unpack why single-issue politics backfires, why assimilation doesn't protect you, and why solidarity between black and brown voices is the only way forward. Let's dive in.
So the U.S. Supreme Court today overturned Judge Frimpong's injunction from June 11th, saying that in LA, the ICE agents needed to follow well-established law by the Fourth Amendment. They needed something more than just a person's race or how they look. And today, Trump's U.S. Supreme Court ruled that their ethnicity, the language they speak, the type of jobs that Latinos have, gardening, construction, can all be used as reasonable suspicion. Law professors are throwing out their curriculums because all established law is out the window. Latinos, regardless of citizenship status or immigration status, now have diminished rights under the Constitution. This is Trump's Supreme Court. And it seems now as though the law will change with whatever Trump requests. So we'll see where this leads us.
You can hope all you want that Latinos for Trump are going to fuck around and find out now that the Supreme Court has ruled that ICE can racially profile people on the street if they look like illegal aliens. But it doesn't matter, because Latinos for Trump have been pretending like they are white, assimilating into white culture so long that they think they look white and they don't think they're going to be racially profiled. They don't think they stick out to ICE. They have whitewash goggles so badly that they think to a gang of ICE agents that they look like a white person. Don't get started on me about this whole, oh, this white girl's talking out of pocket, doesn't know what she's talking about. I am Cuban American. I'm very acutely and intimately aware of the thought processes going on here. You can bark at them all they want about, oh, look what you've done now. Look what you've done now. Now you're a target. Now you're a target. You can be racially profiled. They don't give a damn. They don't give a rat's ass. I know this particular niche issue doesn't really matter in the grand scheme of things because the Supreme Court did indeed just strip away civil rights from everyone in this country, especially those that are black and brown. But, you know, to me, it kind of matters. They voted for this, yes. They've done this to themselves, but they still don't give a shit. They still don't think anything's going to happen to them. They're sitting around watching other Latinos with legal status and naturalized citizenships getting snatched up off the street and sent to El Salvador. They don't give a damn. They don't even believe that that stuff is happening, much less believe that it's going to happen to them now that the Supreme Court said it was okay.
Let's talk about the lack of education in the Latino community and how that ties to them voting Republican. A lot of it is religious, but education takes a big part of it. Republicans have been actively pushing people away from higher education, cutting funding, banning DEI, and pushing trade-only routes. Why? Because the more educated you are, the more likely you are to vote progressive. Limiting education keeps people vulnerable to political and religious propaganda. So when you combine religion with limited education, you create the perfect storm for conservative votes. And if you don't question it, you risk trading our future for so-called family values. Let's not pretend like the percentage of educated Latino men are not going down. That plus the cultural belief that we have to help our family as soon as we turn 18, all of that makes it harder for all of us to get educated. So the easiest thing to do is to go into a trade. Statistics show that when you have a bachelor's degree, you're more likely to vote Democrat, especially when you're a person of color. Most people don't even know how the government works. The number of Latinas getting higher education continues to go up, but what about the men? Because that number keeps going down. So let's talk about it. How can we get these men?
Did a video on this, but it's very common for Latinos that are from Cuba, Venezuela, and Nicaragua to be Trumpies. And the reason for that being is they usually associate leftist politics with dictatorship regimes. So when Democratic politicians talk a lot about socialist issues or something that could come off as socialism, they get freaked out. Or another big factor besides political scare is the fact that a lot of them tend to be religious. Catholicism is an inherent part of Latino cultures all over Latin America, so it's actually very common for Latinos to base off of their vote off of conservative issues such as abortion and gay marriage. I think I saw a comment on another video talking about a similar issue saying like, oh, your parents are just going to ignore the fact that, the current president is a rapist, a pedophile, blah, blah, blah. I would like to counter your argument with this thought. There is an ongoing issue with Latino families protecting predators within the family dynamic. So unfortunately, do you really think it's surprising that they wouldn't care if the current president is one? They won't even kick out predators within their own family. But the irony of it all is that my mom got political asylum because she's a refugee and my dad was undocumented most of my life. There is this phenomena that once immigrants come into this country and they finally get citizenship, then suddenly they don't care about the rest. They want to assimilate into American culture, which is in their eyes white culture, so bad they are willing to screw everyone else so they can get ahead. And the irony is that that's never going to happen. It's unfortunately very common for Latino families, especially if you come from a religious background.
So what would be the alternative? Kamala?
Yeah.
You think Kamala would have done a good job? Why? Because she wouldn't deport people? And that's the only thing you stand on? In the entire country, and the way this country is going, deportations are the only thing you should judge a president on? You're crazy. You're so small-minded. We have foreign policy.
The Mexican Americans, they might make it a priority.
Yes.
Right?
But if that's the hill you're going to die on, you should step away from politics.
Because?
We have foreign policy. We have trades. We have people charging us tariffs that we're not paying tariffs. You know what the tariff was from China, Japan, here to us so they can import their goods to us? 15%. Did you know if you try to import one on American corn to China, it's 110, 150%? Before the tariff war, they were taking advantage of us. And dog, I can go all day. People grab a president and hang them on one thing. Dog, there's the economy, there's a stock market, there's foreign policy, there's wars, there's so many things. Homeland security, there's so many things that you have to judge a president on. So if you think, like when people in the comments, that's what you voted for, okay, you think Kamala would have been a better choice?
What do you disagree with Kamala the most on?
There's nothing I agree with her on.
Absolutely nothing.
Or Biden. Nothing. No, dog, there's nothing. Nothing. Like there's not, I can't tell you one thing because there's not. It's non-existent. It's just non-existent. It's that simple. So I see, that's when you leave the emotions out of it and you have an objective reality. So you're telling me if we all backtrack to November of 2024, Kamala would be the best choice just because your Theo might get deported? Like if that's the only issue in America? Come on, dog.
I think they might, right? I'm speaking for the viewers, right? It's a direct effect on their life, right? Like if their mom or Theo or whatever, right?
I understand. I have illegal family members. I get it. But so let me get this straight. They can up everything as long as they don't deport your uncle. So then if they don't deport your uncle, what country are we gonna have? What are we gonna have? We're not gonna have a country because you're gonna destroy it with the foreign policies, the foreign aid, with all going on with the wars, with the tariffs. We're being eaten alive, dog. Did you know this year alone we already received $46 billion in tariffs that we were not getting before? Hence why no tax on the tips. Hence why no tax on overtime. People don't see that though, because all you see is my deal's gonna get deported. That's not the only hill to die on. We're a whole country.
I have to make this video basically coming out of work because this is one of the most terrible things I have ever seen in 20 years of being an attorney. I'm turning 50 next month. My father was an attorney. And this is without question one of the most blatant violations of the law, the Constitution, and the Fourth Amendment of the United States that protects everyone, all of the citizens of the United States, from illegal searches, unreasonable searches as that. The Supreme Court of the United States, 6-3, in a shadow docket, no one knows what the fuck was their rationale, decided in the case of Noem versus Vázquez Perdomo, a huge important injunction that prohibited ICE agents to profile and engage with Latinos based solely on how they look, what language they spoke, what type of job they were holding in the United States. Because it's illegal. You can't fucking profile people just on that alone. And our highest court, the sole interpreter of all of the laws in the United States, right, just decided that they can, in fact, profile Latinos in the United States. This racist and compromised Supreme Court for Trump decided that profiling people for their ethnicity is a relevant factor. All legal scholars, all lawyers on TikTok are blown away by this decision. This has been spoken to in law schools in the United States. It's been discussed by the Civil Liberties Union, by the American Bar Association. This is the craziest thing we've ever seen. It's unexplained. And now, for all of you Latinos for Trump that voted for this bullshit, you signed your own death fucking warrant. You brought us to the slaughters. And all of you Latinos for Trump will be considered as traitors to your own people forever and ever. This is horrific. It's a violation of the Fourth Amendment of the Constitution. And I don't know how the fuck we are going to get this back. But this is what happens. You give a little bit of freedom to get a sense of security, and you deserve neither. Que tengan buen día. I'll keep you posted for more. Like and follow.
So it is official. SCOTUS just made it possible, made it legal for ICE to detain anyone that looks Hispanic or speaks Spanish. So basically anyone who has my same skin complexion and speaks Spanish like I do. This is a direct violation of our 14th and 4th Amendment rights. We all know that the majority of these cosplay wannabe Call of Duty fucking wannabe ICE agents that Trump selected probably failed sociology class. So they don't know the difference between Puerto Ricans who are born in America, who are my skin complexion, and South Americans. So now SCOTUS has made it possible for people like myself who were born here, who served this country. And because I speak Spanish, if I decide that I want to go out with my mom one day and we decide that we want to say something in Spanish or whatever, we can be detained. This is not America. The America that we once knew disappeared 8 months ago. And the America that I once served proudly and honorably no longer exists. For any Latino or any Hispanic or anyone for that matter who is not from this country that is coming to this country to come and visit, this is not the America that used to be. Stay your ass at home. Don't give America not one more dollar. Don't come over here. Don't go and tour all of the, different historical places. Don't do it. Because it's bad enough that American citizens like myself who are Hispanic now have to watch our backs.
Latinos for Trump, first of all, you guys are embarrassing. I've always said it, and I stand by that. It's very embarrassing. You guys are weak-minded. You guys are. You couldn't just, get through that. At one point, you guys were made fun of for being Latino, and then you guys just kind of caved in. You were like, I don't want to be Latino anymore. And that's why you guys hate yourselves, and I don't know what to tell you. But now, what I can say is that the Supreme Court is allowing ICE to racially profile, and you guys are going to find out real quick that there was nothing different about you. Sorry, you guys look like us, so buckle up. I don't even think a MAGA hat can save you now. I don't think so. I don't think they really care. They're definitely not going to tell, who voted for him and who didn't. They're not going to be able to tell by looking at you, okay? Maybe you can carry your MAGA hat and your little flags around, your Trump flags, just in case. But I don't think that's going to save you. I do hate what's happening within our community and the hatred that people have towards us. But I will say that if I see a Latino for Trump being detained, I might chuckle a little bit. You know what I mean? It might be a little, funny for me.
Donald Trump can continue to pull over Latinos and check them for citizenship, even if they're American citizens. Horrific story here, guys. Basically, what Trump has been doing in Los Angeles and other cities, he's got the National Guard and others stopping anybody on the street who looks Latino and making them prove they're American. Totally illegal. You can't, it's racial profiling. You literally can't do this. Trump's been having them do it. Court said, no, you can't do it. What happens now? His little buddies in the Supreme Court said, yeah, you can. So they're letting them do it. Now, the case is still going on in the lower courts, but in the meantime, Trump's National Guard is able to stop anybody on the street who looks Latino and make them prove they're American. And if they can't sufficiently, they drag their butts in. They did this to an American guy recently, an American Latino, born here. He's American. They pulled him over because he looked Latino. Said, you're not Latino. He goes, yeah, I was born here. He goes, yeah, really? Where were you born? What hospital? He goes, I don't know what hospital. They grabbed him, manhandled him and took him in, arrested him. Only like hours later did they figure out, oh, yeah, I guess there are some people born in this country who are actually Latino. What a surprise. This is horrific, guys. This is absolutely horrific what they're doing. And of course, what Trump's court is letting them do.
Family, let's be real. Black and brown people in this country are fed the fuck up. Every day under this Trump administration, we're watching the law get violated in broad daylight while we're just trying to live, raise our kids, or build something for ourselves. We did not ask for this fight, but this regime keeps putting a target on our backs. And it's not just Trump. He stacked the Supreme Court with a bunch of loyalists. The military is following his orders, and people like Pete Hegseth are just giving commands that aren't even lawful. That's not democracy. That's tyranny. And the whole world sees it because folks are scared. They're packing up. They're leaving America in numbers that we've just never seen before. And if you look at what's happening in our neighborhoods, troops are patrolling the streets like it's a war zone. And when the only thing that we're guilty of is existing while black and brown. So let's be clear. Trump's greed and his obsession with attacking us isn't just dangerous for us. It's dangerous for the whole country. So because if you keep pushing people into a corner, eventually they're going to push back. And when people lose faith in the justice system, when we believe that the courts won't protect us, every state in America, we're slipping into chaos. And that's not a warning, that's a fucking guarantee. Trump can control the soldiers, but he cannot control the spirit of the people. And if the people rise, no army in the world is going to be able to stop them. So this administration needs to understand, you cannot keep sowing division, fear, and hate without consequence. What starts as an attack on black and brown people will end up tearing at the very foundation of this country. And if America falls into an abyss, it won't just swallow us, it's going to swallow everybody. So I'm telling you, stay aware, stay strong, and stay united, because history shows us one thing: every empire that forgets its people eventually collapses.
Alright, family, let's talk about what we've just watched. The first thing that stands out is how fast things can shift when the court ruling bends constitutional lines. Whether you are Latino, Black, Asian, or even white, the idea that the kind of job you work, gardening, constructions, service industry, can be used as the reason to stop you, that shakes the foundation of equal protection. Now, from our Black audience, you already know this story. Stop and frisk in New York, traffic stops in the South, surveillance in Black neighborhoods. You have lived a reality where appearance alone became the so-called reasonable suspicion. And for years, many of you warned that if America normalized suspicion for one group, it would never stop there. Today is Latinos in the spotlight. Tomorrow, who is next? Another key theme is assimilation. Some of the speakers said that Latinos for Trump believed that by blending into whiteness, they could avoid being targets. But history shows us that assimilation is never a shared. Black professionals in suits, veterans in uniforms, college graduates, none of those things stopped profiling. Because profiling doesn't ask what degrees you hold or what flag you wave. Profiling asks only, what do you look like in this moment? And when the rules are vague, anyone can be pulled in. Single-issue politics also came up. Deportations became the hill many voted on. But a president is not just only about deportation policy. The president shapes the courts, the judges, the people who define how the Constitution is read. And when those judges tilt toward the fear instead of fairness, suddenly every right is negotiable. Voting only on one issue blinded many from seeing the bigger system being built around them. Education and religion were also highlighted in the video. Limited education combined with religious propaganda creates communities that are easier to sway. And let us be honest, this is not just a Latino issue. In black communities too, we've seen how misinformation, underfunded schools, and weaponized faith can convince people to vote against their own best interest. Knowledge is power, civic education, knowing your rights, understanding how government works, that is the armor against manipulation. Then there is the immigrant arc. Families who finally secure papers and then forget the struggles of others. Some even join in policies that make life harder for the next wave. But the truth is, a paper is not a permanent shield. Citizen, green card holders, refugees, all can be pulled aside if suspicion is defined by the skin, accent, or job. Black folks know this reality well. You can carry every ID you own and still be told it is not enough. I also want to address the temptation to laugh when Latinos for Trump face profiling. I understand the emotion, but you don't win when your neighbors lose. Injustice for one group sets the precedent for injustice against all. The goal is not revenge, it's right. You don't need more people suffering, you need the suffering to stop altogether. So what do? First, youth awareness. Share real information in both English and Spanish about constitutional rights, what to do when stopped, who to call. Second, create local networks. Churches, barbershops, community centers should be hubs not just for culture, but for civic education. Third, demand accountability at the local levels. City councils, district attorneys, and sheriffs all set policies that can limit profiling. Watch your own backyard. And to the Latino conservatives specifically, I will say this. If deportation was your single issue, ask yourself, did the people you voted for create fairness? Or did they open the door to suspicion that now includes you? Strong borders don't require weak rights. You deserve a country that respects both. To my black audience, remember when we warned that unchecked state power always expands. The warning wasn't negativity, it was experience. We tried to tell America that once suspicion becomes a law, it spreads beyond its first target. That is exactly what we are seeing. But instead of saying, we told you so, this is the moment to build bridges. Black and brown together have the numbers, the stories, and the power to demand change. So here is my vision. Communities printing Know Your Right cards. Zoom meetings where young people learn about the Constitution, like they learn how to make TikTok videos. Facebook groups sharing lawyer contacts faster than memes. Churches hosting nights that combine scripture with civic education. Local businesses putting up signs that says, your rights matter here. That is how you harden your communities against fear. And let me leave you with this. Rights are not about who deserves them most. They are about who needs them most when the system tilts. Today it is Latinos in the spotlight. Yesterday it was black folks. Tomorrow it could be anyone. Your fight is not to laugh at each other's pain, but to make sure no one has to live in fear for simply existing. So if you made it this far, here is what I want from you. Drop a comment about what you think about this video. Like this video so that more people can see it. And subscribe because I'll be posting more videos that can help you to stay informed and stay united. The struggle is real, but so is your resilience. Together, you can demand guardrails, rebuild trust, and protect the future. I'm TA, and I will see you in the next one.